beanie babies, mullets, Hawaiian shirts, truck balls. Just a few of the weird trends which humans have subscribed to in recent history. But when you look at the broader picture of humanity, you'll start to notice even stranger tendencies which seem to grip the whole of humanity. Fad diets, pranks, penis obsession, just some of the odd human habits our race has taken part in. So let's investigate these and more in our list of the 7 strangest trends in history. Number 7. Follow the leader. Humans have a weird habit of not only blindly following their political and religious leaders' instructions, but also attempting to mimic their behavior and appearance. Queen Elizabeth, the First of England, was known to consume so much sugar her teeth went black. So to suck up to her, her people would artificially blacken their teeth in tribute. Many figureheads have had their fashion choices copied by loyal followers, such as John F. Kennedy, Princess Diana, and even Kim Jong-un. And sometimes even the leaders themselves get in on the act by copying the actions of their rulers, the gods themselves. One of the most startling examples of this comes from ancient Egypt, where according to mythology, Adam, the solar god of creation, was thought to have created the other gods out of his semen by masturbating. The excess of Adam's all-powerful seed was apparently responsible for forming the Nile River, and the strength of its current was believed to be linked to how frequently Adam ejaculated. So, for a large part of Egyptian history, the pharaohs, wanting to praise their deity and mimic his greatness, were required to ceremonially masturbate straight into the Nile. This image makes me think of 2 things. First, I'd like everyone watching to take a moment and imagine your nation's leader cranking one off into the river. Okay, done? Great! Now let's take another moment to feel sorry for the poor people further down the Nile who just took a big morning gulp and wondered why it tasted like seawater. At 6, dumbassery. One trend that never changes regardless of technology or culture is man's desire to do stupid stunts better than their friends. The cinnamon challenge, planking, eyeball licking. What's next? The stick your thumb up your butt and eat a whole bag of flour challenge? I hope so. I'm getting kind of pretty good at that. This kind of stuff has been going on forever. As you can see from this 1939 cover of Time magazine, where college students became obsessed with swallowing goldfish. Other weird fads included cramming as many people as possible into a phone booth, sitting on top of flagpoles, and competitions to see who could squat or dance the longest. In the 14th century, hula hooping took off, and before that, the ancient Romans used to limbo for the very same reasons kids today are doing the hold your breath challenge. People are competitive, people are stupid, and so it shall always be. In at 5, scientific scaremongering. Whenever a new invention comes along that promises to change our world, there will always be those who are fearful. This is a phenomenon known as technophobia. And of the most prominent historical examples comes from the Industrial Revolution, when new machines threatened to replace the work of skilled craftsmen. We're experiencing a similar period now as we approach the dawn of automation, and whilst being fearful of a machine taking your job seems rational, many technophobic conclusions are just downright bizarre. Victorians used to think photography would steal your soul, that trains running at 30 miles an hour would cause humans to melt, and that telephones were instruments of the devil that would encourage women to gossip. Okay, they were kind of right on that one. But does it make you wonder what arguments were made against other historical inventions? Did early man think the wheel was too curvaceous and would corrupt kids? Did they believe fire caused woolly mammoth autism? We can't rule it out. Number 4. Unhealthy health fads. As you munch down on your morning bowl full of chia seeds and kale chips moistened by your own horrible tears, just be thankful you don't live in an age when the latest fad could kill you. People have always sought a shortcut to health and wellness, and this trend goes way, way back. Ancient Romans ingested the liver and blood of fallen gladiators for health reasons, and in the 17th century, people drank a health tonic made from human brains, horse dung, and wine. When they weren't drinking the sweat of a dying man to help them with their hemorrhoids, of course. Powdered mummy was also offered by many apothecaries throughout Europe as a means of boosting your health. And in the 19th century, arsenic, cocaine, opium, and cannabis were also promoted for their health-boosting properties. Even cigarettes were physician-tested and approved in the 1930s. But the deadliest fad came in the early 20th century, with the insane popularity of radium. Radium, which scientists describe as more radioactive than Dr. Manhattan's turds, could be found in everything from tonics and pills through to cosmetics and baby clothes. Nobody had a clue how this magic new substance helped you. All they knew was it gave you a wonderful glow after taking it. I wonder why. At 3, the wiener takes it all. Another trend which transcends human history is the idea of penis comparison, and that to prove yourself as a man you must demonstrate the size of your manhood to anyone and everyone you meet. Today, men represent their mythically large trouser python by driving expensive sports cars. But this behavior has occurred in males for a really long, frighteningly long time. It's so long I don't even think you could take it. But let's try anyway. In the Middle Ages, pointed shoes known as poulaines were popular amongst men, and it was considered that the pointier your shoes were, the longer your Johnson. Sigmund Freud also believed that when long hair became fashionable early in the 19th century, this, too, was a symbol of a gentleman's love length. But perhaps the most overt example of phallic demonstration comes from architecture. Examples of giant wieners can be seen in the construct of obelisks and shrines built by the ancient Greeks, the Romans, Indians, Indonesians, Malians, straight through to the modern-day obsession with skyscrapers. There is a consensus amongst architectural theorists that this obsession with building ever taller monuments and skyscrapers is entirely rooted in the idea of penis comparison, which makes you wonder if Donald Trump has also written his name on his. You know what? Let's not think about that. Number 2. Spiritual beliefs. Humanity has always sought to discover the meaning of existence by giving spiritual meaning to gods in the sky, supreme beings here on Earth, ghosts in the closet, and aliens on faraway planets. The first written records of organized religious practice date back to the Sumerians of Mesopotamia in 3500 BC, but there is also evidence of some Chinese religious activity way back in 4500 BC. Before that, the lines between mythology and religion were blurred, but with a trend for spiritualism currently on the rise again, it seems man has always placed his faith in something otherworldly to give both our life and death meaning, and it seems that we always will, until we can answer our two most important questions: why are we here? And where do we go when we die? And at number 1, the fashionable body. Skinny is sexy. Real women have curves. Big is beautiful. People with a horse face and a hunchback give me a chubby. Let's face it, the idea of what constitutes a fashionable body changes according to the time period and culture you come from. But what never changes is the fact that people will try to force themselves into whatever shape is considered trendy at the time. This is especially true of famous people. And in the 18th and 19th centuries, this trend for the perfect body took a shocking new twist. Around this time, many prominent artists became infected by tuberculosis, an infectious lung disease which is deadly if left untreated. But before death, one of tuberculosis's sexy side effects is severe weight loss. And for some reason, a large number of creative people began to suffer and die from the disease. Robert Burns, Voltaire, Gauguin, D.H. Lawrence, Chopin, John Keats, Robert Louis Stevenson, Anne and Emily Bront, and later the philosopher Albert Camus, all contracted tuberculosis, and suddenly it became a rather fashionable ailment to have, or at least the side effects were. People were attracted to the idea of the skinny wastrel artiste and wanted to look just like them, so TB was nicknamed the romantic disease. And whilst there are no confirmed cases of anyone deliberately infecting themselves with TB, it is known that Victorian women did deliberately swallow tapeworms to mimic TB's weight loss effects. The things people do for beauty, eh? Well, At least they weren't bathing in women's blood like the lady in our last video. The 7 real-life supervillains from history, which you should totally check out now.